Next thing on our agenda is a presentation of three checks or four checks to Mr. Bill Rickard, Executive Director of Operations Support Our Troops America. I'm going to come around. You're going to take the podium, and I'm going to come there with you. All right. Sounds good. I'm not going to tell you where the checks came from. But it was we raised. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
We did raise from the village a total of $871.
Great.
And then we have a check for $629 here, and another check for $300 here, and another check for $200 here.
Wow.
And
That's
that
awesome.
is, well, there were some people that stepped up, because we really appreciate what you do. We
Thank you.
never realized until we went out there a few years back that you actually have to pay to have all those boxes shipped.
Yep.
At what rate, 20, how much?
Well, I just had a budget meeting today about that. Last year, we spent over $120,000.
So it's not just the products that go in the box and the cost of the box and the place that you use it. An ex-Vietnam guy, if I'm correct, does he still let you use the building?
He does, yes.
And I'm sure he works with you on the rent. But if it's shipped, that is amazing cost. I had no idea. So we shifted gears from food and products to cash to help them ship the boxes. I wish we could do more.
Well, that'll go a long way, and we really appreciate it. It's interesting, in Operation Support Our Troops, my wife and I co-founded it 16 years ago, and we co-founded it out of our house. And when our son was a plebe or a freshman at West Point, we had friends that were in harm's way, so we wanted to help support them, and all of a sudden the generosity of folks in the western suburbs heard about us mailing care packages to some of our friends. Stuff started showing up, and here we are 16 years later. Just this past February, we hit our 2 millionth pound that we shipped to our troops. So it's pretty cool. We're still in over 70% of the world's countries. People don't realize that. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind right now. But we're in Syria and Africa and Afghanistan and Iraq. And just last weekend, one killed in Afghanistan was a Chicago native. So we always got to remember that. So this will go a long way to help really do our mission of our Comfort and Care Package program. And so that's one of the programs we have. We also have a Veterans Assistance Program, and Alan J. Lynch Veterans Assistance. Al Lynch is a Vietnam vet who lives up in Gurnee, who's on our board. There's only 84 Medal of Honor recipients living today, and he's one of them, and he's on our board, and we help veterans in need. So that's another program we do to help support our veterans. And then we also do a really special thing that my wife and I really want to do, and that's called Leap of Faith, and that's for our Gold Star families, or families of the fallen. And so we're putting on our 21st seminar this October down at Fort Bragg for families of the fallen and Gold Star families. And it'll be interesting to note, we're thinking about doing a Leap of Faith program for first responders too. So we may be in touch about firemen and police and things of that nature to try to do that. So again, thanks so much. It goes a long way. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for what you do, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank the board because they sold all the raffle tickets.
There you go.
And staff and everybody got involved to try and raise the money. So I
Right.
want to thank the board and the staff.
Thank you very much. And those of you that have not come down, we're located in Lisle. Our warehouse is in Lisle. You're free to come down. Our website's www.osotAmerica.org. We have a really cool event coming up in September. We always did the Rockin' for the Troops concert. I don't know if you remember at Cantini.
Yep.
We're doing some different things. This year we're doing something different. We're doing an event called Over the Edge. And what it is we're partnered with the Hotel Arista in Naperville at Route 59 and I-88. And we're going to rappel down the side of the hotel. Yes, we're crazy, but that's what we're doing. So we're going to...
Our firemen got all excited.
I know.
Done that.
There
Done
you
that.
go.
Not that high,
Marty
not that
Walker
high.
wanted to say hello to everybody here. Marty Walker's a retired
Oh, Marty.
fireman here in Carroll Stream. He's on our board. Just so you know, Marty's on our board, and a very good personal friend of Deb and I. So thank you.
Want to take a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
Come on up.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Good seeing you again.
Seeing you, brother.
Hey, man. Good. Thanks. Okay, here we go. All right.
1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so
Thanks
much.
for what you do, Danny.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All that fun stuff. Oh, yeah, we got a meeting.
Yeah. It's okay. Do we have any addresses from the audience? None? Is there a motion to establish a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Swarzy, seconded by trustee Frizzaloni. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee LaRocca, trustee Zalick,
Aye.
trustee LaRocca,
Aye.
trustee Frizzaloni,
Aye.
trustee Shorzy.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read what is on the consent agenda?
Yes. Under Board and Commission Reports, number 1, Plan Commission Zoning Board of Appeals, A 19-0008, Triumph Construction Services, Dynamic MD, 250 North Schmale Road, Special Use Permit for Motor Vehicle Service, Special Use Permit for Outdoor Activities and Operations, Parking of Trailers. Recommend approval with conditions 6-0.
Yes.
Yes.
B, 19-0011, Warren Johnson Architects, Burger King, 840 West Army Trail Road. Amendment to a special use for a second drive-up service window. Recommend approval with conditions 6-0. Sign code variation approved 6-0.
Yes.
Yes.
C, 19-0013, LPC Carroll Stream LLC, 550 Center Avenue, special use permit for outdoor activities and operations, parking of trailers, termination of a special use permit for a recycling center, and special use permit for an annual household hazard waste collection event. Recommend approval with conditions 6-0.
Yes.
Yes.
Under staff reports and recommendations, number 1, award of contract, 2019 crack filling contract to SKC Construction, Inc. at the bid unit prices submitted of $76,050.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 2, award of contract, 2019 pavement marking project to Superior Road Striping, Inc. at the bid unit prices totaling $30,447.23.
Yes.
Yes.
Under ordinances, we have ordinance approving a special use permit for motor vehicle service and a special use permit to allow for outdoor activities and operations in the form of the storage of trailers in the 1 Industrial District Triumph Construction Services Dynamic MD 250 North Schmale Road.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2019-8-25. Number 2, ordinance approving an amendment to a special use permit for a drive-up service window, Warren Johnson Architects, Inc., Burger King, 840 West Army Trail.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2019-8-26. Ordinance terminating special use permits for a public service and utility use in outdoor activities and operations, Village of Carroll Stream, 550 Center Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
Has ordinance number 2019-8-27. Number 4, ordinance approving a special use permit to allow for outdoor activities and operations in the form of the storage of trailers in the 1 Industrial District, LPC Carroll Stream, LLC, 550 Center Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2019-8-28. Number 5, ordinance amending the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances to regulate tobacco products and the purchase and possession of tobacco products, alternative nicotine products, and electronic cigarettes by a person under 21 years of age.
Yes.
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 That is ordinance number 2019-8-29. Under new business, number 1, raffle license application and sound amplification permit, American Cancer Society.
Yes.
Yes.
Under payment of bills, number 1, regular bills, July 16, 2019 through August 5, 2019.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 2, addendum warrants, July 16, 2019 through August 5, 2019.
Yes.
Yes.
Under report of officers, we have the treasurer's report, revenue, expenditure statement, and balance sheet, month ended June 30, 2019.
Received.
The motion to put those items on the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Laraca, seconded by trustee McCarthy. Clerk call the roll.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Laraca.
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni.
Aye.
Trustee Shorzy.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve those items by unanimous vote?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Frusaloni, seconded by trustee Swarzy. Clerk call the roll.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Laraca.
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni.
Aye.
Trustee Shorzy.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Report of officers, trustee Laraca.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to again congratulate Commander Don Cummings and Sergeant Kelly Lally on their promotions. And thank you for the service that you have given this village up till now. And I'm confident that you're going to continue to do an excellent job for the village and its residents. I kind of spoke my mind today about our cannabis workshop, and maybe it came a little strong, but that's how I feel. And I stated that I really felt that the elected officials in Springfield are selling the Illinois residents down the river. And I feel that's what they've done, and I won't do that to our residents. Apologize for coming along strong, but that's my feelings, and I had to state it. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, trustee Laraca. Trustee Swarzy.
Thank you, sir. What a couple classy police officers we promoted today. I mean, their passion, their dedication to the job, their experience and skill level is not even questioned. They're very family-oriented gentlemen, and it made me really, to listen to their speeches on after their promotion just made me feel really proud, not only to be a Carroll Stream resident, made me feel proud to be on the board up here and have such a fantastic couple gentlemen serving Carroll Stream. So congratulations to both Don Cummings and Kelly Lally. And then I just want to remind residents, shop in Carroll Stream. Thank you very much.
Thank you, trustee Swarzy. Trustee Zalick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also would like to congratulate Commander Cummings and Sergeant Lally. I worked next to them, both in patrol and in detectives, and they are great men. I mean, they're honest and integrity. They do a good job, so I know that that will fall onto their subordinates, and this department will move forward in the right direction. I'm also proud of our residents and community for stepping up and being generous and donating so that they can send stuff to the troops. I'm very proud of our community. Tomorrow's National Night Out, so it's a time when the police and the community can get together and not throw water on each other, unless there's a dunk tank. But it's a good, it's good partnership for the police and the community to get together. And if you're not going to attend, please put your porch lights on to show support. Finally, with these shootings in Dayton and in Texas, everybody is very emotional. And they point the finger and do a knee-jerk reaction as to gun control. But I have a quote from Ronald Reagan. It says, "We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his actions." And I was a police officer, and I just feel that there needs to come we need to stop and get along, and for those close to people who are doing these horrible, horrible crimes, they need to say something. If they see something suspicious, if, like, I read that the guy in Dayton allegedly had a hit list and a rape list in school, and he got suspended for it. How he got a gun, I don't know. But I think, Oregon, like the state police and so forth, who issue FOID cards, need to take a little more extensive look at these individuals because it always comes out after the fact that, oh, yeah, there are red flags, or, well, how come we don't know this stuff before the FOID cards are issued? So, I just think that we need to really start putting an end to this violence, because it's horrible. It's senseless. And that is my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. As a police officer, I take that was a great report. Thank you. Trustee Frizzalone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to also, we said thank you to our residents for their generosity in raising $2,000 to go towards Operation Support Our Troops. But so far, year-to-date, we've raised over $3,500 at our Thursday night concerts for our local food banks. We're like less than $600 away from what we raised last year. So I'm really hoping that this week is the week that we kind of tip it in and surpass last year's dollar amount of almost $4,100. We have had, talk about just generosity and people who love our community. We have had people who have won that don't live in Carroll Stream and donated the money back. We've had residents that have generously donated back. Last week, the winner of the 50-50 split the pot donated back $200 of her winnings. And it's just, it speaks to this village, how much everybody cares for each other and wants to take care of their neighbors. And I guess I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what Trustee Zalik said. Actually, right before the shootings were announced over the weekend, on Friday night, actually, and I don't know which department is doing it, it might be IEMA, I don't know. They're doing a See Something, Say Something ad campaign, and it was kind of in your face, and we kind of sat there looking at it going, well, that was really, quite out there and a little frightening the way that they portrayed it. But then when you wake up and you hear the news the next day that there's 2 mass shootings within 14 hours of each other, then you're thinking, well, maybe that ad wasn't enough. Maybe they need to really push the outside of the envelope. The only thing I can say is be prepared. I mean, just pay attention to your surroundings. You never know if there, a backpack laying on the ground is something suspicious. If someone's acting weird, the police have always said, and they will always continue to say, they would much rather have you call 911 and them respond and it turn out to be nothing than they have to respond to a emergency situation that turns into something that could have been prevented. So please, talk to your kids. I think our society, we're getting a little desensitized when you hear that this is the 251st mass shooting of the year, that you just think to yourselves, when does it stop? And it stops, and I think it starts with people paying more attention to what's going on around them and looking for the warning signs. I also want to touch on what Trustee LaRocca said. We had a special workshop meeting where we talked about the recreational cannabis law that's going to be going into effect January 1st. And I agree with Trustee LaRocca. I am not in favor of Carroll Stream selling it. I understand that it would be a revenue stream for Carroll Stream. But until we have more information, I don't want to be the first ones to commit to this, and then we learn that we're spending more than what we're bringing in to keep our residents safe, and to make sure that people are educated about really what does this law mean. I'm not going to say that Carroll Stream will never sell it, but I just don't support us doing it before a lot of things are tied up as far as the 600-page law. There's so many gray areas that haven't been defined yet. Law enforcement really needs to get their head wrapped around how are we going to protect our citizens that are passing through town, the residents that live here. I don't think we need to stress our staff with even more things with a law that we're all still trying to figure out, and bits and pieces are still going to be coming available to us by the end of the year. So I do support us waiting and seeing if this is going to be something good, and maybe we wait 2 years, maybe we never have it. I've heard people say that legalizing marijuana is no different than alcohol, and I would remind people that we haven't gotten to where we are with, the field sobriety test for alcohol, for the roadside tests that we can do for alcohol, for judging people who are impaired by alcohol overnight. It took years and years and years to develop that, and we are not there with marijuana right now. And I don't think that we need to add that into the mix. We can't stop people from using it, and I get that. But I most certainly don't have to support us selling it. And that's my position. And it's been very resounding talking to residents that the majority, I think I've only found 2 people who have said, yes, we need to sell it. Everyone else has said, absolutely not. I'm very much against the village selling it. And I think that speaks volumes, because that's helped me really form my decision, was people just saying, we're just not ready for this yet. We may never be ready for it. So I just wanted to state that. I know that as a village, we still have a lot to learn in the next 5 months before this law goes into effect. And I know our staff is doing a phenomenal job of pulling it together. Our village attorney has sent us so much information, which is, it's great information, and trying to consolidate and condense all of that information into something that's understandable is a very difficult task. So thank you, Jim, for the information, the Q&A you gave us. It was really a lot of information, but it was very well written and very easy to understand. So thank you to our staff for that. And with that, I just want to say, summer is coming to an end. Kids are going back to school soon, but they're still going to be outside. It's still light outside. It's still warm outside. So please slow down through town. We've had I've seen a lot of people that are going way too fast on side streets in my own neighborhood, where it really makes me worried with kids that are trying to get that last little bit of energy out before they go to bed after being in school all day. So please, slow down as you're going through town, and please abide by the crosswalk laws, because there's been a couple of near-miss accidents with the kids going back and forth to school. So with that, I will end my report.
Thank you, trustee Fruzzoloni. Trustee McCarthy.
Commander Cummings and Sergeant Lally, congratulations on well-deserved promotions. Look forward to seeing the department to continue to grow with some little bit different leadership, so that's always a good thing. Thursday night is our last concert of the season already. Wow, that's flown by. If you haven't been out, this is a good one. Come out, check it out. Everybody has just a great time. It's always fun, and it's just a fun little community event that Tia, you've done a great job on the music again this year. But come out. The food starts at 6, the music starts at 7. You're out of there by a little after 9 o'clock, and you have either a free or a very inexpensive night if you buy some food and something from the Rotary and something from Culver's. It's still an inexpensive night. So come check it out. Saturday is Relay for Life up at Town Center. It starts with 12:30. The Cub Scouts are hosting the 3rd annual Fishing Derby. At 2:30, the Knights of Columbus will have their soccer challenge. And then kickoff of the relay starts at 5. That's all up at Town Center. There'll be food up there. All kinds of different activities. I know they've got a DJ going the majority of the night, so it's always a fun night. And then right after that, the following week on the 17th, actually our Bags Committee has partnered with the Police Department for the Special Olympics, and we're having a under 16 bags tournament up at Town Center. Starts at 10 o'clock on the 17th, in conjunction with the police car show they have. So there'll be a bunch of stuff going on there for that. There'll be food available for purchase. There'll be raffle prizes. We'll have the bags going on, and of course the car show. So we got a few fun things going on up at Town Center to wrap up the summer. So I hope to see everybody up there. And the only other thing is, we've noticed a lot on social media, there's been a rash of people going through unlocked cars. And it seems like it's more unlocked, Chief, would you agree with that, than people actually breaking into cars? Lock your cars, number one. Number two, if your car is broken into or something's stolen, you gotta make a report. The only way the police department's gonna know and be able to investigate and find out what's going on is if we report it. So your first call, it shouldn't be to Facebook. It should be go ahead and go straight to the police first, get a report put in. In this case, this last one, the bikes were found, the scooters were found. So if you get it there quick, you very well may at least get it back so you can lock it up next time. But again, lock your car doors, make sure your bikes are put away. But if something does happen, please call up and make a report. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, trustee McCarthy. Madam Clerk.
I just want to congratulate our police department on continually to grow and move up in the ranks. So congratulations to Don Cummings and Kelly Lally. And then also just keep our military in your hearts and minds. It was wonderful to see the check given to Operation Troops and to hear everything that they do. That ends my report.
Thank you.
So-
Mr. Rhodes, our village attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will also offer my congratulations to Commander Cummings and to new Sergeant Lala. And also, the board may recall about 6 months ago, you passed a small wireless facilities ordinance to regulate those facilities as they come into town. That ordinance provides for a license agreement to be entered into between the village and anyone who's coming in and wants to operate as a small facilities operator within the village. On behalf of all of Kleinthorpe and Jenkins clients, we have negotiated license agreements with both AT&T and with Verizon. You may know, if you've watched your weekly reports, that Verizon has come in and they have some licenses pending in the village for some facilities. And so within the next meeting or two, we will have before you those license agreements for approval. They go into a significant amount of detail with respect to various types of things like the insurance requirements, the indemnification provisions that they're required to provide to the village, what happens when they're no longer going to operate a facility and how that facility gets taken down, information about what happens in the case of an emergency or one of the facilities gets knocked down, those types of things. So you'll see that. I just wanted to alert you to that. It'll be coming either at the next meeting or the meeting after that. And then finally, at the next board meeting, I will not be here. I have a vacation day that I've scheduled for quite a while. So all the way in the back of the room, waving his hand, is Brian Gorka. Brian is an associate with our firm. Brian is a former assistant state's attorney from DuPage County. And he's been with us for how long now? A little more than a year. And so Brian's going to fill in for me at the next board meeting. So I just wanted to make sure that Brian was here and to introduce him to the board so that you know the strange face who's coming and sitting in my chair next meeting. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, village manager.
Yes, in addition to the discussion on adult use cannabis, we also discussed alternate revenues that the village needs to support the services that residents have become accustomed to, and the fact that we rely on sales tax and income tax and utility taxes that are extremely variable. They rely on, weather conditions, employment levels, the economy for the sales tax. We will be having another workshop on August 19th to discuss alternate revenue sources that are more reliable and sustainable over the long term. As we discussed in our budget last year, bless you.
Thank you.
We're going to be coming up with some big capital improvement projects that currently we don't have leftover revenues from the general corporate fund that typically fund the capital programs. Last year, we weren't able to transfer any money from the general fund. So we're going to be depleting those, and in about 3 years or so, the capital program will not have any funding. So, and there's also some other expenditures that need to be funded in addition to pensions and capitals. So we'll be discussing that at the August 19th board meeting. So if there are any residents out there that want to attend, we'd be having that meeting then. And then the last thing, this Wednesday, August 7th at about 1:20 p.m., FEMA will be doing another test of the Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, or IPAWS. So you will probably be getting a warning on your cell phones, TV, and radio, so don't be alarmed.
Still freak everybody
Yes,
out.
Yes. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Commander Cummings, phenomenal promotion. Sergeant Lally, another great promotion. So fortunate to have people that we can keep moving up and moving over and getting the right thing done. We covered a lot of ground tonight before our meeting and covered a lot of ground at our meeting. This cannabis thing is going to be interesting to follow. I don't know, actually got one letter from one resident, and where that resident comes from, they complain about everything. And it's sad, but I mean, no matter what we do, somebody from that area will always complain about it. One person out of like 600 doesn't make the difference. I didn't have a lot of people come up to me in church or Jewel or anything. I've had some people say, Mayor, you and your board will do the right thing, and I'm not going to tell you what that is. And that made me feel good. And then some said, don't do it or else. It's like, and I hate being threatened, but I mean, when all the chips are in the center, we'll know what cards to play. I mean, we've done it, and we've been very fortunate. We've worked hard. We don't jump into nothing because other towns are jumping in. I was happy to hear we have some for it, some against it, some riding the fence. That's this board, which is a good thing, and that's why we succeed the way we do. Because we just don't all hear the music and march in or drink the Kool-Aid together. We're going through tough times. If the people that complained had a choice of paying a property tax or taking an additional 3% and maybe not having one, what would they say? My biggest concern is like everything else that's done, if it happens in Glendale Heights or it happens in Hanover Park or West Chicago or Winfield, people here are still going to smoke. They're still going to have the marijuana. They're going to get it there, and they're going to come here. So, I mean, those are the things that we have to look at. The decisions that we make will be tough. Some people will be happy, some people won't be. A lot of people think cannabis is a great thing. It's not going to affect them. Everybody has their own opinion. One of the things that we didn't say tonight is shop Carol Stream. I think we forgot that tonight.
No, he said it.
I uttered it.
Did you utter it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to utter it again, because some of the problems that we have is because people, our internet tax, how's our internet tax going, John? How are we doing with that? Our utility tax, how's that? Not very good, huh? Because every time somebody gets a cell phone and get rid of their landline, we can make a little less money. I mean, and those are the things that, if you don't shop in the town that you live in, shame on you. If you buy gas and you want to go to Glendale Heights or you want to go to West Chicago because it's a penny cheaper, shame on you. Because all of that money adds up, and that's how we run this village. And without that support, it makes it tougher and tougher for us. So there's a lot of things we have to look at. I mean, we've always been okay. We still are one of the few towns with no debt. We still got money in the bank. We don't have a bond rating because we don't borrow money, and I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of the board, proud of the boards before us, and the staff before this staff. So we're going to be making some changes in some of the things that we do. We've had a lot of people retire, and we've got some plans to try and save a few bucks to try and make it a little bit better and keep the continuity. So I think a lot of people will be surprised at some of the things that I come up with, and I think the board is going to support, at least I hope, but we'll get into that at another time. So with that, we're going to go into closed session, is that correct?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, we're going into closed session today to discuss Section 2C2 of the Open Meetings Act, collective negotiating matters. There will be no action taken after executive session, so the motion will be to go into executive session to discuss collective negotiating matters and then to adjourn from executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Moved by trustee McCarthy, seconded by trustee Swarzy. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Loretta.
Aye.
Trustee Frizzloni.
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
The mayor announced